So, as a mother, you always want to be strong for your kids and always want to have, you want to be what they can rely on, what they can depend on. And when this all started for us, very much a part of me was dependent on them. Oh gosh, Diana was 8 and was so little and so tender and could not understand what was going on, why her mother wasn't there. And we're so close, all 3 of the girls were so close. It was so difficult to be in one place and having to have other people take care of her. My oldest daughter always kind of, because I'm such an old mother, she always was kind of Diana's mother, but she really had to step up and really be the mother both for Diana and T. And gosh, I think about those times and I just realized how strong all 3 of them was. T came, I will never forget, the nurse saying to T, my middle daughter, asked her, well, what are you going to do? She said, I'm going to take care of my mother. There are just certain things my mother likes, and I came to do that. And it's just like lotion in my feet and just, some girly stuff. But the lady turned to her and said, well, I thought you were 16. She said, no, I'm 20. And so when I think about what we went through, mother and daughters, I so depended on them, and their strength now is evident because of what I went through. I don't think there's anything that my kids will go through that they will not know how to get through it, because they watch me and we're so much a part of it. One thing that I can say about my girls, although they're, one is this way, one is that way, and then I have a combination girl, I see so much of me in each one of them, and I'm so thankful. A lot of mothers have to, like I said, be that stepping stone for their children, and I tried early on to be that for them, but it was them that became my stepping stone during this NMO journey. And so I just want to pause a minute to introduce Nadria, Timesia, and Diana, so much a part of me.
So I'm Nate Adria Michelle, just Nate.
My name is Diana Hart, but they call me T.
I'm Timesia. They call me T.
Right.
So my childhood was very, I think my childhood was pretty good, because like everyone loved me, and I was like, I was the baby that wasn't supposed to come. Mom was about I think she was 30 something.
She was
when she had me.
Stop.
When she had me, she didn't think that I was gonna come, and then she went to the doctor and she was pregnant. She didn't want to be pregnant, but she was. Anyway, so whenever it was she was pregnant and she was getting with it, and Dad really just thought I was a boy, so he was just like, this is gonna happen.
How do you know all of this and you weren't even born?
Because he told me this.
Oh,
So he said he thought I was a boy, so whenever I came out, he said, oh, my son, but then Mom told him it was a girl, so I was a girl.
All right. So now that we know how kids' sex is determined,
right.
I don't know. Our childhood was pretty good. We aren't from here, Arkansas. We're from Texas, and I was so happy when Dee Dee came. She was my little baby boo. I didn't like it when T was born, but it's okay. We're still friends.
Most of the time. But that's fine. I didn't really like it when Diana was born.
Well,
Side note for you. Yeah. And when I was sick a lot, Diana didn't really help me out.
I'm sorry, I was a baby. I mean,
And I think the biggest difference between growing up before all of this happened and after is the discipline, because I could look at Mom the wrong way and get popped.
That's not true.
It's very true.
I think it's just because you were the firstborn, so she was just harder on you. She had to be.
Maybe, but she don't pop the rest of them like she pops me.
She popped me. And she pops me on accident a lot of times. But she pops me a lot. Diana gets away with the most, though.
That's true. She's the baby. When I graduated from high school and she was trying to take pictures, she couldn't see. And she thought it was the camera. And then we found out it was her eyes. And we didn't know that was part of the disease, but I just think with each level, things got more crucial and the understanding became better and better. And not until we got to a neurological doctor who could put all the puzzle pieces together did everything make sense. And to me, that offers more hope because now there's a diagnosis. You know what I'm saying? Instead of just trying to cure all the other stuff that was happening and you thought she was just falling apart, but really it was just one thing causing
But to me, I don't know if I feel that way still, because, you know, it was called one thing, and then all of a sudden, it's not that. You get what I'm saying?
Well, it's a part of it though. I think that the diagnosis she has is kind of a derivative of MS, what we thought it was. But I get what you're saying. But now we have a definite. And even before, just having something made more sense than everything falling out
Because
of
you're
the
saying
sky.
about when you were in high school, because it wasn't that big of a deal to me, because it wasn't, you know, I wasn't in that. But it was a big deal to me whenever she was coming to one of the basketball games, and she wasn't there to pick me up because she was in the hospital. And that's when I was just like, well, I was just sick.
Right.
I was just always going to be sick.
Right.
She's just sick.
And even before all this, she's been sick. You know, right after she had D, you know, she had the auto pedestrian accident, which is kind of why I think D and I are so close, is because it was always me and D. So it has kind of just been progressive, building up, and it's just one of those things where, well, we got through it then, so what do we do to make sure we just keep going? It was never, even when I think Mom got to a point where she was just tired of fighting the second exacerbation, she was really tired. It just, that was not, for me, it was never an option. I was never ready to accept that she's not going to make it.
Yeah. She's just in the hospital right now, so she'll be out. But she'll be out. It might take longer, but she's gonna be out.
Right.
I feel like if we weren't as close as we were before, I don't think we would have gotten through it. Like, before me, T, and A were not that close. We were just, you know, sisters, just like for the benefit, you know? And hey, that's how it was for me.
And because she's here and she's without us, so.
That's how it was. And then for a long time, it was just me and Daddy. I mean, we didn't really talk.
We were far away.
Yeah.
We weren't here for the, you know, for most of it, we were adults.
Yeah.
When she got to the hospital stuff, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So.
And I think that part's important too, because a lot of the flack I got back from the family was, you need to be home and you need to be with your mom, and you need to do this. And I don't think people understand, you know, I'm in college. Then once I graduated, I have bills too. And I'm not like a lot of the people who were saying these things to me. I don't know if people said this to you, T, but a lot of people who were saying that kind of stuff to me, they're married, they have men that can carry on the bills.
Household,
Yeah, and I don't have that. So I think the hardest part for me was the balance between what I wanted to do, come home and help, you know, and leave everything in Nashville and come home and help. But then Mom and Daddy are saying, no, we don't want you to interrupt your life. We want you to, when we need you, we'll call you. And then you have the family who's like, you're such a bad daughter because you're the oldest and you're not home dealing with this. And then you have, you know, I know Dee was dealing with a lot because she's maturing and going through things where she needs somebody with her. It was a lot to balance. And I still sometimes, I wonder if I made the right choices, but I really could only do what I could do. You know, nobody was gonna take care of my bills. Nobody was gonna do the things that I knew still had to go on.
Because that's when I was taking you know, a break from school, so I could, you know, all I was doing was working really. So I could come down and help out. But really, I mean, there's nothing you can do, really. She's in the hospital with people who have studied all kinds of days, you know what I mean? There's nothing that really I could have done except for, you know,
But she
kick
did,
the nurses out.
but she did call, and you guys, you and Dad visited her every weekend when she was in therapy. And I know a couple of times she called me, which, when she, if she reaches out, you know she really needs you. So when she would call, hey, come wash my hair, or come this, come that, you know, go down, make the small trip to Little Rock from Nashville, or, you know, things like that where we could help. But I think, obviously, prayer and my church family supported me, but, you know, and it's safe to say that we all love God, and we all were raised in the church. We all know to depend on Him and to lean on Him, but I think that without sounding ungrateful or unchristian-like, that carries you, when you're here and living it, you know, that carries you. It carries you. It does give you strength, and it does give you courage. It does give you the extra push you need, but faith without works is dead. So that faith does carry you, but you
Only
still
so
have to
far.
do the work. You know, you have to do the calling and the texting and the, you know, the
The
closeness.
driving
Yeah. So not to say that God wasn't there for us. You know, obviously He was. Not to say that He wasn't a big part of it, because He was, but that's a given, I feel, because we were all raised in church. But there are other things
that
come.
played a factor, yeah, definitely. And then us support, like she said, us supporting each other. I mean, because I wouldn't have came back if Diana was like, well, we don't need you. You know what I mean? So that's mostly why I came back so much, was Diana and Mom.
Yeah. And they needed you, but I think in a way,
I just need to
I
make
needed-
sure.
right.
Yeah.
I needed to, it eased me to put eyes on things, you know, even to go from the point where to visit her, they were picking her up in the sling to go from one place to the next. And the next time I would visit, she's pushing herself in a wheelchair. And the next time I visit, she's walking on walk. So those kinds of things help, because you're able to see the progress and
For yourself, because Mom sometimes wasn't the greatest
communicating.
at all. So it did help out a lot.